more. So the screen is visible. Yes. Respond. Screen
Yes,
is
sir.
yes. Okay. So here ring structure. When we go to the ring structure, the structure of glucose that was there as an open chain structure, it is it comes from some of the reactions that it undergoes from there. The structure it is shown as the open chain structure, but this open chain structure is not able to satisfy many other observations. Number one, IR peak is not available. We have seen that one. Glucose pentaacetate, glucose pentaacetate do not react with NH2OH. We have to, I mean, why it does not react. So open chain structure cannot explain that one. Two isomeric forms of glucose are isolated. That also open chain structure cannot explain. So these are the spectrum that we have seen for that last time. Also, glucose undergoes meter rotation. That is also not being explained by open chain structure. No, meter rotation is the change of specific rotation of an optically active compound in solution is known as meter rotation. Now, this change of specific rotation can happen only when there is a change of structure happening in the solution. That is the main reason for the phenomenon of meter rotation. So this meter rotation also open chain structure could not explain. Now we come to today's version. So we come here. Now, last time what we have seen that one reaction that is when glucose, if we treat an alcohol with, aldehyde with an alcohol, what we get? This is the reaction of between aldehyde, then aldehyde and an alcohol. So it reacts like this. First molecule of alcohol will react with aldehyde, giving us hemiacetal. Then hemiacetal is unstable. It will react with the second molecule of alcohol, giving us acetal. This OH will be condensed with the ROH, giving us OR here. One first OR comes from this in the form of hemiacetal. Second OR will come in the form of what is called acetal. This is what is called acetal. So if we have seen that glucose has got an aldehyde group. So if glucose have an aldehyde group, this also should give us an diacetyl of glucose. But what we find, we do not find this observation with glucose. What we find for glucose, what we see, when glucose is treated with methanol in presence of HCl, instead of obtaining dimethyl acetal like this, something like this one with methyl, this group will R will be methyl group there. So dimethyl acetal of glucose, what we get is 2 isomeric monomethyl glucoside. So this also our open chain structure could not explain. So we have got so many anomalies that were not answered by this open chain structure. So what was suggested then to explain all the apparent anomalies? You see, apparent and these anomalies are there, but these are apparent anomalies. It appears to be an anomaly, but it should not be an anomaly. A 6-membered cyclic hemiacetal structure of glucose was suggested. Why 6-membered? That also we have to, it was later on it was proved that it is 6-membered. Otherwise also we know which ring size, stability of ring size depends on the size of the ring, right? As stability of alicyclic compounds depends on the ring size. So 6-membered ring is the most stable ring, then comes 5-membered ring. So that way, so first it was assumed that it forms a 6-membered ring, but later on it is proved that it is 6-membered ring, not 5-membered or 7-membered or something like that. So the proof is there. So that one will. So a 6-membered hemiacetal structure of glucose was suggested, which is formed from its open chain structure by interaction of C5OH group and the carbonyl group. Because what is there in glucose? Glucose has got aldehyde group as well as alcohol. But alcohol, there are so many alcohol OH group, 5 of them. So here we see that an aldehyde reacts with an alcohol, giving us this first hemiacetal and then acetal. But here, what is happening in case of glucose? The alcoholic group of carbon 5 reacts with the aldehydic group of C1 in glucose itself. As a result, what it is going to get, we are going to get something like this, a structure like this, but this structure will be connected to one another because this OR is coming from the same molecule as that of the same molecule. The alcoholic group and the aldehydic group belong to the same molecule. So it becomes a cyclic structure. So, and the size of the cyclic structure is 6, I mean 6-member tree. So, but this structure also remain in equilibrium with its open chain structure. That means is an equilibrium is established between open chain and the ring structure in solution. So that is what is the suggestion. So next come, so how it happens, you see here, this is the glucose structure that is being suggested. So this is our open chain structure, yes or no, right? Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir.
This is the open chain structure, the first one that we see. Now this alcohol, like that alcohol reacting with aldehyde, but here this alcoholic group is reacting with this aldehydic group, giving us an oxygen bridge between this carbon and this carbon, that means C1 and C5, and this OH group will be there. But what has happened in the process, you see here, this carbon atom was not a chiral center. But after the ring formation, this a new chiral center is created, H, OH, this oxygen and this group. So that means a new chiral center. And for one new chiral center, how many isomers will you have? We'll have 2 isomers. So we'll have 2 isomeric form of glucose. Now you see here, are they mirror images? Are they mirror image? These 2 structures? Are they mirror image structures?
No.
No.
No, sir.
So what type of isomers they are called in terms of, they are called what?
Diastereomers.
They are diastereomers, yes. They are not, they are isomers of the same molecule, optical isomers, but not mirror image structures. So they are called diastereomers. But this diastereomer, what we find here, so a new diastereomer is obtained. But this diastereomer in the case of glucose is given a name. They are called anomers. So what we find, we have got this. So during the process of cyclization, a new chiral center is created at the carbonyl group carbon. So this at this point, which give rise to 2 diastereomers known as anomers. So they are given a new name that is called anomers. And what is their name? They are named as alpha anomer, and one is known as alpha anomer, other one is known as beta anomer of glucose. So we call it alpha glucose and beta glucose. Now there is a point of confusion. One is alpha, another is beta. But which one is alpha? How to remember it? Anybody? In other 4 carbon atom chirality, I mean position of the OH group, we have remembered like this: right, left, right, right. But here this is a new OH group has come, OH group and H has come, which is giving rise to 2 anomers. These isomers or these diastereomers are known as anomers. Remember, and this anomer is not only for glucose. All monosaccharides will have their own anomers. Glucose will have its own, ribose is have its own, galactose, stallose, whatever it is. All the anomers will have this, and also disaccharides, where this anomeric OH group is free. The carbonyl group is free, will have these anomers. So we'll come to that one later on. But you have to remember the position of this alpha when this position is on the right hand side. The anomeric, this carbon atom is called, so again these names you have to be careful. This carbon atom which is forming this anomers, that is called anomeric carbon. The OH group is called anomeric OH group. So these are the terms used. So how to remember? You have to find out a method to remember it. Anybody, can you suggest something to how to remember? Because once you come out of, go out and find out after some time, you may again have a confusion. Which one was alpha, whether there is, the right hand side was alpha or left hand side was alpha. Anybody? And you have to find out your own method. And this is what you find here. Anomers in carbohydrate chemistry are named according to the position of the anomeric OH group at the anomeric carbon. When the anomeric OH group is present in the right hand side in Fischer projection, we are talking also in terms of Fischer projection. These are Fischer projections, you know that. The structure, Fischer projection structure, it is alpha anomer, and when it is present on the left hand side, this is on the left hand side, this will be termed as the beta anomer. Now, you tell me how to remember which is alpha and which is beta. And this will be there for all monosaccharide and also for some disaccharides where this carbonyl group is free. Come on. Can you tell? Anybody?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, beta and beta D glucose. Beta means if we take the B word and we say left hand side in Hindi baya, so we can
I think
remember like that.
did I discuss it in your class anytime? No.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In what connection? Carbohydrate was there in our syllabus, in your syllabus earlier? No. Huh? Did I discuss? Yes. This is how you can remember. Hindi or Bengali or Assamia. This is Baufale, right? The word B.
Yes, sir.
Left. So it is when this OH group is on the left hand side, that is beta. So that is final. So once it is on the left hand side, that is beta. And so other one obviously will be alpha. So this is making the difference between alpha and beta. So these are two different isomers and they are diastereomers. Once they are diastereomers, they will have their physical properties are also different. So they will have different, so we find alpha has got different melting point and from beta has got different specific rotation from alpha. So they are having all their own property. But what is happening here? Okay, we'll come to the phenomenon of beta rotation later on. Are you following what I am telling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we go to, now this is what is, actually this is what happens. We get this ring structure because of this internal reaction between aldehyde, because two reacting groups are present in the same molecule. So they will not sit idle, they will react with one another. But in the process here we are getting this. But this is in equilibrium. You see, once we have this one, it also comes to the open chain. Then also it goes to the, so we get this. So this equilibrium we have to again discuss a little more. We come here. But Howard projection structure. This projection structure that we have taken earlier, this is what type of projection this one is? This type of structure that we write here, right hand side. So horizontal and vertical positions of the group. This is called Fischer projection. But in carbohydrate chemistry, more important projection structure is Howard projection structure. So let us discuss how to convert this Fischer projection to the Howard projection. So we go here, Howard projection structure. Now, what is Howard's projection structure? What we find here, this in the carbohydrate chemistry we'll be having, these are called pyranose and furanose structures. Okay, that one, okay, nomenclature again will come later on. Because this ring that we find, 6-membered ring that is formed here, is there is 5 carbon atom and 1 oxygen atom. And here, so if it is 6-membered ring, it is written like this. This is just a hexagonal structure like benzene, but in the horizontal position and oxygen on the top. And when it is 5-membered ring, we give it like this. Oxygen is on the top and this. Now, here we have what we have to do. Our Fisher projection need to be converted to the Howard projection. Just a conversion. In the process, it should not change its character. Now, what is the convention? The convention is that in Howard projection, our groups are written up and down. One group will be up, another. Every carbon atom will have two more groups. One will be on the top, another will be on the bottom. That means up and down. But from Fisher projection, when we convert it to Howard, what is done? In the Fisher projection, the one which is on the left-hand side is written up, and in the Fisher projection, which is on the right-hand side, is written down. That is the convention. And you have to remember that one. So let us see the conversion here. So this is the Fisher projection structure for alpha glucose and beta glucose, right? So this, now we come here. So this is how we write down the these two structures of alpha glucose and beta glucose. So what we find here, so this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon atom, but here 6 carbon atom will be on the top. So 1, the OH group is where? Right hand side, so it goes down. 2, it is also right hand side, so that is down. In 3, it is on the left hand side, so this 3 OH group goes up. Then 4, it is again on the right hand side, so it is down. Then comes 5th, but 5th carbon atom, it has got one hydrogen bonded to CH2OH, and then oxygen is which connects between these two carbon atom. So that oxygen is here. So this is how we write. And what is the difference between alpha and beta? It is only on the C1, the anomeric carbon. Which is anomeric carbon? Anomeric carbon atom is the C1. Now you tell me, in case of glucose, anomeric carbon atom is C1. What will be the anomeric carbon in fructose? Which carbon atom will be anomeric carbon in fructose? Tell me, which carbon atom will be anomeric carbon in fructose? Hello? Yes? No response. In fructose, which will be anomeric carbon? C1, C2, C3, C4, which one?
C1.
Huh?
C1.
C1.
C2. C2, sir.
It is the carbonyl
C2?
group that is going to be the anomeric carbon.
Sir.
So carbonyl group is C2, C2 carbon, not C1. So in fructose, the anomeric carbon is C2, and then fructose, it is 5-membered ring. So you have to write down the structure also of fructose. I'm going today only I'll give you some tasks. You are just sitting idle. You're not doing anything. So here C1 is anomeric carbon. And here, what is the difference between this alpha and glucose? It is only in the anomeric carbon. In anomeric carbon here, in alpha, it is on the right hand side, and right hand side in Fisher projection comes down, so it is down, and in the beta it goes up, so it is left hand side, so that is up, and other carbon atom remains here. Now you should always blindly should be in a position to write down this Howard projection. This is more important. Fisher projection we hardly write it for carbohydrate. So this is how the structure is written. Now you tell me, there is an advantage of writing Howard projection over Fisher projection. What are the advantages? Can you tell me some one or two advantages of putting a structure in Howard as Howard projection, not as Fisher projection? Anybody? Anyone? Come on, tell me. Who is there in the class? Now, how many are there? Let me see. 33 means 32 people have attended. Huh? Come on. You see, Who is your next? Who is taking your next class?
Durlab sir.
Dullab sir. Okay. So we have to also leave on time. Come on, tell me, what is the advantage? Is Mr. Noor is there? Noor? Or now he will not respond. Hmm? Priyanka? Hmm? Okay, Jennifer, are you there? Or you are not there? Jennifer, she is not there. Huh? Okay, you tell me now, who is telling? Today Himanga is present? Oh, people are not responding. Come on. I found Ibrahim Ali is there. So tell me. Okay,
Sorry,
Daisy?
sir.
Huh? Sorry. Okay, sorry also all right. That is also an answer. But nobody is responding when their names are uttered. Daisy, you tell me. Hello, Daisy.
Sir, it is easier for certain reaction to occur.
Easier for certain. How come you're writing down the structure? How does the reaction becomes easy and difficult?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So, all right. That is not that you have to know this one, but at least you should respond. That's all. I want that participation. If you don't know, it's not that it's a crime. Yes, you may not know, but at least you should respond quickly. That's all. I want that. Now you see, two advantages. I'll make it count. One is that you see when you write Fisher projection, is it not Fisher and Howard projection, which is taking more space? Huh? More space.
Fisher, sir.
Fisher is
Fisher.
taking more space. All right. Fisher is taking more space, and here you see this molecule here in Howard projection looks more compact. Okay, this is not that this is a minor advantage, but major advantage, you see, major feature is that here when you see this oxygen bridge is between carbon 1 and carbon 5, isn't it? Carbon 1 and carbon 5. If we write Fisher projection, it looks that this carbon 1 and carbon 5, they are far away from one another. But in reality, you cannot, because the carbon 1 oxygen bridge is between, there is an oxygen carbon bond between C1 and also C5. And bond is there, nothing but there should be a bond length. So this bond length suddenly cannot become too large. In Fisher projection, it appears to be a very, very large bond in terms of length. But it should not be. When we write Howard projection, you find here this C1 and C5, they are okay, close to one another. And this CO oxygen bond and this CO oxygen bond is very close to your CC bond that we have written here between any two adjacent carbon atom. So here it appears to be more real structure. Even then, this is not real structure. Real structure is not this one. This is only projection structure. This projection structure tells something more about, more close to your real molecular structure. Okay, close to real molecular structure. So these are two advantages. So it is always, now ever, whenever we write down the structure, we'll write in terms of Howard projection. And you must know how to write down the Howard projection from Fisher projection. But you should do it quickly. Now here, what is the convention of writing Fisher to Howard? The right hand side group will go down, left hand side will go up. Here also you have to remember your structure by some common method, some method by which you the method you should adopt in such a way that it does not you don't forget it. Anybody who will give something, some idea? Did I discuss it in some other connection? I don't remember. But carbohydrate was not there part of your syllabus in earlier semester. Anybody who can have an idea? What is that? Fisher projection, the group on the right hand side goes down, group on the left hand side is going up. So how to remember it? How to remember it? This one, you see. Hindi, what is right? Right is daya, isn't it? Huh?
Yes,
Right
sir.
means daya. So
Yes,
daya goes down. So D and D. All right. Right means daya
Yes, sir.
go down. So that is how you should remember. Anyway, here you cannot remember unless and until you do some practice on it. You have to do practice, only then you can remember it. And quickly one should write down their structure. How to write down the structure quickly? You should think of carbon number 2, position of carbon number 2. Right, left, right. And then this is right. So right, down, left, right, down. This left is up. So right, left, right. And then C5 is connected to oxygen via this. And then OH group is right, down, right. So alpha is alpha OH group is down here and up here. That's all. So this structure you should quickly you have to write down this. So next class when we come, I will first give the task and you must write down these structures. Whatever I may give, a Fisher projection or Howard projection or alpha, beta, anything. Now you find, now this is another slide which is showing this, this reaction that is happening, internal reaction. I have shown it here. This is how, if we can write down our structures like this, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and C5 and C6. C5 and C6. And C5 OH group is reacting with this. Oh, somebody is giving the call. This so it is reacting and giving this new chiral center is created. One will go up, another will come down. So one is beta, another is alpha. So how this? Now let us see. Therefore, what is the actual? Now we come to the final conclusion. The structure of glucose exists as cyclic 6-membered hemiacetal form in solid state as cyclic alpha and beta glucose. So in solid state, they will exist as either alpha or beta and both of them. Suppose you don't separate them, they will remain as a mixture of alpha and beta in the bottle of say glucose. And D glucose, glucose D, sometimes you buy it and take it, especially during sports, if you eat glucose directly, because it is going to give you instant energy. So that time it is cyclic form of, that means it is alpha and beta D glucose. But if you are for scientific purpose or for some other reason, you can separate them because their melting points are different through different fractional crystallization. They can be separated and kept in two different bottles. So they are not going to change. Alpha will remain alpha, beta will remain beta in solid state. But in solution, what happens? As soon as solution, it exists both ring form and open chain structure in equilibrium with one another. So in solution, it is not that it is, if you put alpha, it will get converted into beta and vice versa. and it will be in equilibrium. So that situation you should understand, and that is going to explain all the anomalies that we have seen with respect to this. And here also I have written one sentence here: ring size that is 6 is experimentally established. We have to also do this one later on. How can we find out the ring size by doing the experiment? So we'll see that one later on. Because here we have accepted that C5 has reacted. Why not C4? It can react C6 also. But ultimately, what is found? It is found to be 6-membered ring, but it is experimentally established. So it's not a blind acceptance. Next point, what we find. Now, when any NMR is dissolved in water, suppose we take alpha NMR.